At last, Cardi B and Stefon Diggs disclosed the reason behind their baby's hospital stay. Weeks have passed with worry, conjecture, and quiet since the announcement that Cardi B and Stefon Diggs' newborn was unexpectedly taken to the hospital in the middle of the night. Everyone has been keeping a careful eye on the situation. Social media was inundated with prayers, perplexity, and genuine worry from fans. Cardi and Stefon have finally spoken up after keeping quiet for what seemed like an eternity, sharing the tragic but uplifting reality of their baby's hospital stay. The night that rocked the family was a broken heart. It all began a few days after the arrival of their newest bundle of joy, which was meant to be a pleasant occasion. Insiders close to the pair said that the infant started exhibiting symptoms of distress at midnight. Car. I realized her newborn's respiration sounded a little off. She was recuperating at home with family. She initially assumed it was merely congestion, which is a common occurrence for babies. However, the baby's chest started to rise and fall quickly, and the sound grew acute after a few minutes. Stefon Diggs picked up the baby without hesitation while Cardi called out for their driver. They raced through the streets of New York to a neighboring hospital in a fit of terror. According to witnesses, Stefon was clearly terrified but focused, calling ahead to make sure the physicians were ready for their arrival, while Cardi was crying, holding a blanket, and praying aloud. Medical facility. The hospital's quiet conflict. The pair remained completely silent for a few days. To people who are often quite talkative and outspoken on the internet are eerily silent no posts, no statements. Cardi and Stefon were having a terrible time behind the scenes. For observation, the infant was placed in the neonatal intensive care unit. Cardi reportedly refused to leave her child's side while doctors conducted tests non-stop. For 3 nights in a row, she was unable to sleep. One nurse reported that she was sobbing, praying, and whispering to the infant the entire time. Both the grief and the love were there in her eyes. Meanwhile, Stefon Diggs assumed the job of guardian. He answered phones, interacted with relatives, and ensured Cardi had access to everything she needed. He was powerful enough for them both. He was obviously crying on the inside, but he maintained his composure for Cardi, according to another source. Cardi's emotional collapse in tears. Later, Cardi B's mother disclosed that her daughter had been crying for days. She continued to blame herself. She muttered, she thought she did something wrong during pregnancy, or maybe didn't rest enough. However, the physicians informed her that she was not at fault. Cardi reportedly broke down in tears one night in the hospital chapel, a moment that devastated millions of hearts. Cardi sobbed violently and whispered, "I can't lose my baby," according to a close acquaintance who was present. Not after everything. When videos of Cardi leaving the hospital in sweatpants and a sweatshirt, with swollen eyes and little makeup, later appeared online, fans were greatly moved by her emotional sensitivity. The typically gorgeous celebrity appeared to be just another scared mother battling for her child's safety. The quiet power of retard Stefon. Stefon Diggs was the silent warrior in the background as Cardi was expressing her feelings. Fans were even more concerned because the NFL player didn't post anything during the incident. However, some close to him claimed that his quiet was a sign of strength. His family was his top priority. According to a source, he didn't want compassion or media attention. All he wanted was for his baby to be all right. Stefon once remarked, "Pray for us," in response to a reporter shouting questions as he entered the hospital. That was all. The turning moment was the sun behind a tiny cloud. The source of the newborn's suffering was eventually identified by the medical staff after over a week in the hospital. A rare but treatable respiratory ailment that can affect newborns born slightly earlier than expected was present in their baby, according to the couple's joint statement. Fortunately, the baby started to improve steadily with early discovery, oxygen assistance, and medicine. Later, Cardi B stated in her heartfelt Instagram story, "I started weeping when the doctor told me your kid would be all right. Never in my life have I experienced such relief. God exists," in his post. Stefon Diggs reiterated the idea, "Although this week has been the most difficult of our life, our child has persevered like a champion. Seeing Cardi persevere through it all made me admire her 10 times more. Social media is inundated with encouragement from Dove devotees. Fans from all across the world celebrated on X, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as soon as word spread that the baby was safe. Hashtags such as #PrayForCardIan for hours, Stefon and #BobYDDigstrong were popular. Cardi's candor about the experience was welcomed by many admirers, who claimed it made them feel less alone. Others respected Stefon for being such a composed and loving father in the midst of chaos. Together, they truly experienced fire. A fan tweeted, "That's the appearance of true love." Celebrities also shared their thoughts. Offset, Lizzo, and Rihanna all sent encouraging notes. "You have the strength of 1,000 women, sis," Rihanna said beneath Card's post. "I'm quite proud of you. A new chapter of gratitude, 2 hearts." Cardi B and Stefon Diggs came home after weeks of anxiety, tears, and prayer. They are holding their healthy infant in their arms this time. According to sources, the encounter made them closer than before. They no longer take anything for granted. According to a friend, Stefon dislikes spending a lot of time away from home, and Card has been extremely protective. They are simply taking in every laugh, every smile, and every victory. Cardi added, "We've been through storms before, but this one reminded me what really matters," in her parting letter to her fans. "Love, faith, and family. We are grateful to everyone who prayed for us. Our baby is at home, resilient, and cherished." The globe lets out a sigh of relief. Dizzy, the tale of Cardi B and Stefon Diggs, baby. From hospital hallways to red carpets is one of suffering converted into purpose and fear turned into faith. Millions of people have been reminded by their bravery in exposing such a very personal fight that real people, genuine emotions, and real conflicts are being fought in the shadows behind every stunning snapshot or viral article. Fans can't help but grin knowing that this once heartbreaking story has a lovely ending, as the couple embarks on a new chapter filled with thankfulness, restored love, and the laughter of a healthy baby. In her parting remarks to the media, Cardi stated quietly, "Our baby's smile healed everything." And just like that, the world exhaled together. The reason behind their newborn's hospitalization is finally revealed by Cardi B and Stefon Diggs: the birth of their priceless newborn. The most recent chapter in the developing romance between NFL player Stefon Diggs and rapper Cardi B was meant to be one of their happiest moments, from their extravagant covert engagement to their tearful pregnancy announcement. Fans from all around the world had followed every step of their turbulent and frequently passionate relationship. However, the internet erupted in terror when word spread that their baby had been taken to the hospital only a few days after birth. Cardi and Stefon were silent for weeks, sharing only cryptic texts, prayer emojis, gentle lullabibas, and Instagram stories. Rumors were stoked by their silence. A few supporters were afraid of the worst. Others conjectured about postpartum stress or possibly problems. The pair has now officially revealed what actually transpired after a protracted period of ambiguity, and their sincere admission has moved millions of admirers to tears and admiration for their fortitude. The unanticipated turn after birth is a broken heart, since the birth of their son, whose name they choose to keep private. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs have been experiencing an emotional high. The couple was described as shining with delight and thrilled by friends and relatives. However, things took a horrifying turn just 72 hours after the delivery. Close sources claim that the baby started experiencing respiratory difficulties late at night. Cardi, who had not slept at all, observed a weird blue hue around the baby's lips and a quiet, gasping sound. She cried out for Stefon in a panic, and he came running from the living room. They were taken to a nearby children's hospital in Atlanta after calling emergency services right away. In her exclusive statement, Cardi sobbed, "My entire world stopped the moment I saw them take my baby out of my arms." Nothing can prepare you to witness your newborn in anguish, even when you believe you are prepared for everything. Hospital within the hospital conflict. The parents stayed at their infant's bedside in the neonatal intensive care unit NICU for several days. Fans were surprised by how lengthy the hospital visit lasted, which led to conjecture on social media. Cardi, who is typically active and vocal on the internet, remained mute. Stefon decided to stay with his family instead of making a number of media appearances and team commitments. Later, medical professionals discovered that the baby had a serious respiratory infection, which is common in newborns but might be harmful if left untreated. The world appeared to be spinning. Stefon went on to say, "One minute we were celebrating the birth of our son, and the next we were praying every second for him to keep breathing, although the waiting was excruciating." The medical staff reassured them that recovery was likely with quick care. According to reports, Cardi would spend her evenings singing quietly to her son through the glass, while seated in a chair next to the incubator. She was characterized by nurses as being both very strong and emotional. She didn't give a damn about cameras or celebrity. One employee remarked, "She was just a mom." The passionate confession was blown up by speech Cardi, and Stefon decided it was time to speak up after. The baby was eventually allowed to return home a few weeks later. The couple was seen sitting together with their hands entwined in a touching Instagram video. "We've been quiet for a while because it was too much," Cardi said, her voice shaking. "As parents, you never want to think of your kid having trouble breathing, but by God's mercy, our little guy survived. We are incredibly proud of him. We don't owe anyone explanations, but we wanted our supporters to know the truth," Stefon continued. There was no drama or gossip. It was actual life. "Despite a health scare, our son is a fighter. I survived this because of Cardi's strength. Her love is unlike any I've ever witnessed." Fans were deeply affected by their admission. Thousands of expressions of love, support, and prayers poured into the comment sections. Prominent figures such as Rihanna, Offset, and even Tina Lawson, the mother of Beyoncé, offered words of support. Rainbow. The process of recovery. The pair disclosed that they chose to temporarily withdraw from public life in order to prioritize their family after being released from prison. They relocated to a private residence in Miami, where they have been concentrating on healing and strengthening their relationship. Cardi claimed that the encounter altered her perspective on motherhood. "I now understand that being a good mother is about offering gifts, love, and prayer. I used to believe that being a good mother was about giving everything, including the greatest clothes and toys. Simply being present." Stefon acknowledged that the experience humbled him, despite his reputation for bravado and swagger. "Until life shows you what true strength looks like, you believe you are strong. Praying for your baby, watching your woman cry, and waiting for a steady heartbeat. Money cannot purchase that type of strength." The Diggs family is starting a new chapter with Dove, Cardi, and Stefon claim. They are closer than ever now that their son is healing and doing well. A tiny hand gripping Stefon's finger is one of the small, wonderful glimpses of family life that they have started to share. While rocking the infant to sleep, Cardi laughs. In addition, the pair said that they would start a foundation in their child's honor to help families who are caring for newborns. "We want to help other parents who've been in our shoes," Cardi stated. "Not everyone has the support we had, and no parent should go through that alone." Both Cardi and Stefon, who have endured years of public scrutiny and relationship speculations, have been commended by fans for the move as a sign of development and maturity. Fans of Sparkling Heart respond to the reality. Fans of X, formerly on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, offered emotional support. "I wrote, 'This broke me. Card is quite strong. She clearly has a deep love for that child.' Stefon talking about Cardi like that." Another admirer commented, "That's what love is." That is true. Influencers and media figures praised the couple's candor and said that their narrative serves as a reminder that superstars are still people. The hashtag #PPrayers for Bab Diggs trended once more, this time with happy postings commemorating the baby's recuperation. Red heart, a thank you note. Cardi B concluded their statement with a message that struck a deep chord with fans. "We learned from this trip that family is everything. Religion is genuine and love is real. No breath is taken for granted by us. We are grateful to everyone who offered prayers for us. The smile of our infant means the world to us. Stefon kissed Card's hand while trying not to cry and muttered, "She saved us all." The internet, which had previously been teeming with anxiety and conjecture, suddenly became a sea of joy and relief. The story of Cardi B and Stefon Diggs goes beyond a typical celebrity headline. It's an exam. It's an exam.